The Wildcats beat up on Vanderbilt 82-61. Vandy's always a little iffy away from Memorial, away from Nashville. That was definitely the case tonight. Sometimes they just get absolutely obliterated. Kentucky had their number. Mark Pope and company smoked them. The Wildcats have kind of righted the ship. I know they had lost 3 of 4. Now they've won 3 of their last 4. Next game up is against an Alabama team that looks a little bit vulnerable in Tuscaloosa. Jeff Goodman, let's start with you. Kentucky, they flexed tonight. Mark Pope and company had those fans on their feet all 40 minutes.
Yeah, and the best part of these wins is that they're going to get Jackson Robinson and Lamont Butler healthy, that they've been able to win without a point guard. I mean, that's the craziest part of this, right? Is that they have, Kirk Kreese is out for the year. Butler re-injured the shoulder. Jackson Robinson's been hurt for the last 4 or 5 games. And they end up getting this win against, a good Vanderbilt team. They're not a great Vanderbilt team. Mark Byington's done a hell of a job putting them in position right now where they're in the mix for an NCAA tournament berth when they were picked at the bottom of the SEC preseason rankings. So, the big thing is Kentucky showing they've got enough, right? Otega Owe was terrific tonight. He's been great all year for the most part. And Amari Williams, you can play through him. You could see that tonight, and that's what Mark Pope's been able to do. So, I think this was a good win for a shorthanded Kentucky team. But, again, most important piece, those guards are getting healthier.
That's
the biggest I don't think we ever expected them to fall off. We didn't expect them to fall, the wheels to fall off this thing. We thought they kind of figure out a way to keep it together. Getting those guys back just ensue Kentucky can win a couple of games. How far can they go in the tournament? We don't know. I don't think anybody's maybe having them as a Final Four pick or anything like that. But again, they're capable of shooting. The question is defending. You get Lamont back. That's big. For what he brings to them on the defensive end of the floor. I think it helps all the frontline guys out with Williams and Carr as well. I think they'll get a few more opportunities when he's back, and when Jackson Robinson's back, he just fits in being their most consistent shooter. So, good win for Kentucky. Vandy has struggled away from home, but again, like you said, Jeff, getting those guys back as they get ready for conference tournament and NCAAs, it's just a bonus for them.
Tyler, I'm curious in your opinion. What is Kentucky to you? A year ago, John Calipari, all he ever did for the last however many years he was in Lexington was recruit the big NBA guys, those 5 stars, the freshmen, the whole deal. There's Goodman there with his Kentucky Wildcat hat on. Looking very sporty. I like that. You look good.
Well, I was going to put this one on, but I'm like, get that crap off right now. Like, I don't want that I don't want that Kansas hat anywhere near me right now.
That's tainted with Hunter Dickinson's attitude. That's tainted with Dickinson attitude right there. I would throw that thing in the trash, that Kansas hat. Yeah. No, but for Kentucky, so here's my question to Tyler. Because, John Calipari, every year when he signed the big studs, our expectation for them and their expectation, Big Blue Nation was to go to the Final Four. This year, it was year 1, Mark Pope, and they got, guys from Drexel and Dayton and Oklahoma and, all kinds of different places to piece this team together. When you look at this team, are they a Final Four team? I don't think anybody's betting on that. Could they get there? You never know. But the question for me is this. Is this just kind of a honeymoon year for Mark Pope, or have we adjusted our expectation for Kentucky just based on how the team is constructed, how the league has changed, how Calipari is not bringing in the one and done? Like, what is the reality now for Mark Pope?
Well, first of all, Jeff, I would put both of those hats in the trash. But second of all, I just want to say Mark Pope has done a great job. The confidence that he has given his players and the fan base has been unbelievable. He's ignited them. He's done a very good job doing that. But in my opinion, what's really going to determine Kentucky's run and how far they can go in the NCAA tournament is Lamont Butler. And when he gets back, I've dealt with shoulder injuries before. They can be nagging and they can be lingering as well. I just felt like he was playing with the confidence, and you know what he can do defensively. He's an experienced guard. He's a veteran. He's been to the Final Four. He's one of those pieces that came over to Kentucky and started playing for Pope. And just like Pope, offensively, he gives his players freedom. He gives them confidence. And you just started to see him really turn it on in ways that we haven't seen offensively, and really made Kentucky a different type of team because of his defensive mentality. Now he's starting to be a bulldog offensively. And you're starting to see some of these players like Williams, who protects the rim. He's a great rim protector, start to do the same things. I mean, I don't have Kentucky as a Final Four team. Would I be floored if Kentucky made the Final Four? No, I wouldn't, because they've been tested every single night in the SEC. And Pope has given this team a lot of confidence. And it seems like if Butler comes back and he is 100% healthy, I think he's going to make this team better than we thought.
I'll say this, guys. The problem is, and again, to your point about shoulder injuries, being someone that's had 3 of them, he's not going to be 100%. And he's not. And this is going to probably require some type of surgery after the season or something like that. It wouldn't surprise me. Once your shoulder starts popping out, that's it. You just rest. You let it calm down. For the first day or two, you start that subluxing coming out. You can't lift it above your head. It takes you 2 or 3 days before you can do that. He'll never be 100% until the season ends. Like I said, I'll be surprised if it doesn't require some type of surgery or long-term rest. But the concern is because of the way he defends and the way he competes on the defensive end of the floor.
Yes.
That's where it's going to limit him. Just screening, coming through screens, everything else, being afraid to use it as much. This is just toughening it out, trying to figure out a way when it calms down. But when you're dealing with a shoulder injury, you're just one way, one movement, one hit, one screen from it popping out again. Because once it starts popping out, it just continues.
The good news is he's a guy that certainly, I mean, you want him around no matter what, because he knows how to win in March. He certainly is a hell of a leader. He's accomplished, Jeff Goodman. I mean, this guy, he's been to the final weekend. I mean, he understands what it takes. And he's done it with a team that was an underdog, that was, a gritty, grind it out every single night, try to find a way, and they did. If he's done 100%, that sucks, because you would love to see him at 100%, but I still think he's going to have value in March.
He will, but again, like RC said, I mean, I was at the game where he re-injured it, and, it was kind of fighting through a screen, and, it's going to happen again and again because of how hard he plays. He's not a big-time offensive player, but he's having the best offensive year of his college career, and they kind of need him for that. The good thing is, for Kentucky, they've actually been really good in the defensive end over the last few games. And I think a lot of it was a pride thing. Everybody was hammering the hell out of them because they were so bad for a couple games there against Ole Miss and Arkansas. I think those 2 games, they were terrible. So I think they're showing more pride overall as a team on that end of the floor, but they're not going anywhere without Lamont Butler. Not, unless he's like 90, I don't know what he's going to be, but he can't get hurt again, and he can't be playing at, 60%.